Well, hey, everybody. Welcome in. This is our remote viewing show tonight. I'm so glad all you guys are here. I see that chat over there is blowing up. I love you guys. Thank y'all so much for being a part of this tonight. I have another fantastic show for us here at the Cryptid Huntress channel. I have my friend Barry Littleton here in the studio tonight. We're going to be talking about something that has been making the rounds on social media. And for everybody who is into Dogman, werewolves, and skinwalkers, which would be my crowd, okay, that's my people, all right? You guys have probably seen that picture from a trail cam. I think a lot of people say this trail cam picture, it looks like a dog, but it has almost a human face, human-like hands, and dog paws in the back, okay? And a lot of people think it's AI generated. A lot of people think it's real. And there's been so much debate going on. It happened to be one of my remote viewing targets. Y'all, this is going to be so fun. Okay, so this was one of my targets. And I got some really interesting data off of this thing. Okay, so we're going to find out tonight, according to my remote viewing data, if this thing is real or AI. Okay, and buckle up, buttercups. We're in for a wild ride again tonight. I love these shows, y'all. We're having a lot of fun doing this. Okay, so yeah, I want to thank you guys for joining me yesterday. We had a fantastic show. Dennis Carroll was here with me, and we talked about magic mirrors last night. Or I guess it was yesterday, and that was a great show. If you missed it, y'all go back and watch that. Check that out. It was super awesome. Okay, if you'd like to follow along with all my shows and keep up with my busy butt, y'all go over to the cryptidhuntress.com and you can find all of my shows there. I updated that thing today. And also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please do. Like all the videos that you like. Please check them all out. Go through my archives. I have hundreds of videos. Most of mine are live shows that I've done throughout the past couple of years here. So you guys go check them out. And also, yeah, buckle up, buttercups. Thanks, Long Island Bigfoot. I see you in here. Okay, and so if you'd like to support what I'm doing, and if you'd like to follow along with my remote viewing data, I have a Patreon. That's the Cryptid Huntress over on Patreon. That's where I have all of my raw remote viewing data posted. And you guys can follow along with that. Oftentimes when I do these remote viewing targets, there's data that is sensitive, and it's stuff that I can't talk about on YouTube because my channel will get shut down. Okay, so that's why I don't discuss it there. That's also why I have a Rumble channel. Okay, so we have a Rumble channel too, the Cryptid Huntress over on Rumble. You guys follow me there too. And yeah, also my shop is War Woman Goods. You guys go get the goods for Christmas over at War Woman Goods on Etsy. Okay. I will, okay, sorry, I had a little glitch there. Glitch in the matrix tonight. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the target. I'm going to give an overview of what the target was, and then I'm going to bring up my good friend, Barry Littleton. Okay. Recently, a photo began making the rounds on social media showing what appears to be a dogman or werewolf type entity captured on a trail cam. Some say it was in the UK. Other reports say it was in Mexico. That's a red flag right there, by the way, if y'all hadn't already figured that one out. The person who claims to have captured the motion sensor photo says that they thought they had caught a wolf on camera, but then noticed the creature had human-like hands and instead of paws and a human face, kind of. The photo has yet to be proven or disproven. Okay, so nobody has come through, and I know, golly, you guys, there's been so much argument about this online. I have yet to see anybody prove that this is AI. Okay, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So some people claim it's AI generated. Others claim it's an actual werewolf or a dogman. Of course, I was tasked with this remote viewing target. So let me bring up my friend, Barry Littleton. Barry is an amazing researcher and a good friend of mine. You guys have seen him here on my show. He was actually on Bigfoot Michigan Rob show today. I bet y'all caught that too. Please help me welcome to the show tonight, my friend, Barry Littleton.
Hey, what's up, Jessica? What's happening? Thanks for having me on. Boy, this is an interesting one. Wow.
Yes. This is going to be a really cool show.
Oh, something real quick before we get started. I didn't have the pleasure of hearing your show yesterday, but I'll check it out about the mirrors. And I've had a little bit of scrying experiences myself when I was younger, but it brings something to mind when I really started hearing about mirrors of that type. There was P.T. Barnum used to have actually a traveling museum. There was like a railroad traveling museum and a bus thing also. And it had all these relics that he collected. He was a type of historian and relic collector also. And I remember hearing an interview with, again, this takes something back to Art Bell's back in the 90s. He did an interview with a gentleman that bought that collection, this married couple, and they were actually touring the museum. And he asked what the most fearful object he has was in this museum of all these supposed haunted relics. And he said there was this black mirror. He's a black mirror that they kept under lock and key because it was the most creepy thing ever. And you look in it, you see things, entities, and it was possessed. And he went on about it for a second, how they didn't even like having it on the caravan, a part of it. So, it's just interesting when you start dealing with that and some facets of that. So I know this isn't about that, but I think that's pretty cool. I'll check that show out.
So. Yeah, that was back in the day when they had fortune tellers and gypsies and whatever you want to call them. That was a big thing with the divination and getting people's fortunes read at those carnivals and stuff. I can imagine they'd have something like that, like a psychomantium or a black mirror or something for fortune telling purposes.
My mother used to talk about frequently. She'd be 90 now. She still lived, but she talked about the sideshows at the carnivals quite a bit and how they didn't have that anymore, and that was an attraction that was kind of missing. So, concerning that PT traveling museum, there used to be a 90s show that will show my age, like one of those good old 90s show that was called Friday the 13th, the series. And it was about relics, a bunch of relics that were in this attic thing. And that show was actually based on that P.T. Barnum's travel museum.
Oh, cool!
Just something cool to throw around. Anyway, back to this this thing that's causing so much controversy in the paranormal community, and it shows how much AI/CGI, whatever they want to call it now, all of these experts. I posted that on Facebook, and I almost regretted it. Because I said right off, I'm not a CGI expert, so I don't know if it's real or not, all right? But there are people that are experts that do the technology and do these programs, the primitive ones and the advanced ones. Thinker Thunker just showed something about a Bigfoot thing. He was doing AI comparisons during Thanksgiving. And, just there, like most people wouldn't know that much. And I had people coming at me like everybody was suddenly just these experts. And I said, well, prove it. If it's AI, I don't know either way. If it's AI, prove it, and no one can make proof. Even somebody saying, "Oh, I researched that; it's not real." Well, what's the research? Let's see it. Prove it, and they can't come up with anything. And if it, and if the best you could do is, well, no one knows where the picture came from. Well, if it was on my property and with the kind of ruckus it's causing, I might not want to say anything either. Who knows? We can't just use that. We can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
That's right. Okay, so if anybody who's watching tonight or in the future, whenever you guys are watching this or listening to this on podcast platforms, if you have proof that this is AI, please send it to me. Put it in the comments. Put some kind of link there. We are dying to see some kind of evidence that this is not real, because I have my data for remote viewing this, and it tells a really interesting story. Okay. Now, I did contact someone who I consider to be an expert on AI images. Okay, a filmmaker, someone who is very much, like I said, to me, he's an expert. I don't know if he considers himself an expert, but he's up there. It's my friend Trey. He's got a media company, but he also is known as Squatch Me Now on Instagram. And he had posted this image about a week or two ago, whenever it first came out. And he was encouraging people too, just like you, Barry, to send in evidence that this is real or not. And as of today, I don't believe anyone had actually sent him like proof that this was fake, or it was an actual AI image. And but everybody was saying, "Oh, this is AI," but nobody sent any proof of it. Okay, so, but not to say it's just like, well, you could turn it, put the ball in the other court and say, well, well, what about people who have experiences with Bigfoot and they don't have proof, or whatever, it's like, well, but you can't say, I don't know. You just can't say, for sure, but I can remote view it. Okay. And so that's why we're here tonight.
Cool.
We're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. And now this is for entertainment purposes only, y'all. Okay, and I get data. Sometimes it is kind of ambiguous. It's just data. It can be interpreted in different ways. Okay, so I'm just going to put the data out there for you guys to decide what you think. Okay, what do you think about that, Barry?
Hey, that's cool. I mean, this is fascinating. I want to see. This is fascinating. That's all, and it's so cool because this is putting some type of data against something that's like making people argue just like that. So
yeah, oh yeah,
people
argue. There's a lot of arguing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of arguing, and there's Long Island Bigfoot. Yes, I'm a country bumpkin. Yes, I am. It's okay. I wear it proudly. Okay, but yeah, this is gonna be fun.
On a serious note, it's too easy now for everyone just to say with a modern era, CGI, AI, and AI and CGI, I believe, are the same thing. And this is everybody's an expert on it now. But that's just very common, and it's also the number one misleading thing a disinformation agency is going to put out. Oh, it's CGI, it's AI.
Well, it makes
these days it's hard to tell. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, it makes it easy. Okay, so this whole AI thing, like we knew that these deep fakes were coming. I've been hearing about these for the past couple of years, at least. And I'm super low tech over here, but I knew that this was coming. And my son, listen, I walked in the living room and my son is watching videos of the presidents playing PlayStation together or whatever those games are. They're playing video games, and it's like Obama and Trump and Biden, and they're just cussing up a storm. And I'm like, whoa! And it looks just like them. It sounds like them, but it's not really them. Okay, so it looks real and it's hilarious.
That's
okay.
Like the Bruce Lee playing ping pong thing. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, it's all fun and games. It's really all fun and games until it turns out to be you, and like you're put in some compromised position because of AI. Do you know what I mean? So, but we got the cryptid community, and the cryptid community is up in. We're throwing our arms up in the air like, well, I don't know anymore what's real and what's not when it comes to the evidence. When it comes to these pictures, my goodness, we get enough pictures of pareidolia with the red circles around them. Now we've got this. Okay, now we got this, right? Yeah. I know, that's terrible.
Red circles.
I'm just calling it how it is. Right? Yes. Okay, so how about let's show a picture. I'm going to show the audience exactly what we're talking about tonight, because there may be some of y'all that have never seen these pictures. Okay. Now here is, I can get them to come up. Okay, this is the main picture right here. Okay, this looks as though it could be, at first glance, people might think this is a wolf. Honestly, it looks like it has a human man's face, or just a human's face. I can't assume what if it's some woman or man. I don't know, or male or female. So, but anyways, it has human hands. Okay, it has human hands. It looks like human hands, and there are more pictures that show the other feet, paws. All right, so I just want you guys to get a good look at it, and considering some of the images that we have seen that are AI generated, this absolutely could be. But what was your first reaction when you first saw this picture, Barry?
Honestly, man, I just lost the chat. I pressed the wrong button, so sorry, anybody. I can't see anymore. Honestly, oh man, I gotta be honest, all right? I'm no expert on CGI. I'm no expert on AI. I'm not gonna pretend like I am, all right? But it kind of looks real to me to a degree, and the reason why I throw that in there is because I myself have had 3 experiences with something that was either, what we could call a skinwalker, a shapeshifter, or something really abnormal that was on the lines of canine-like. And, when looking at that, that's got, as opposed to having 5 digits, like human and something else you're going to say, I'm seeing 4. And notice how the back paws are distinctively different than the hands there. The back ones, those look almost like wolf paws or something, to where these front ones do not. I don't know. So like I said, I'm no CGI expert. I'm no CGI expert. And P.T. Barnum said something, that there's one born every second. I'm trying not to be one of them. You know what I mean? Oh, every minute. Sorry, there's a sucker born every minute. I try not to be a sucker. I try not to be, but I don't know. But it looks somewhat real to me. And like I said, I'm not an expert though.
It does. Well, it does look real, but then again, it's like, well, we have never seen a picture. I've not seen a picture of a dogman or a werewolf that close up in a trail cam before. Not to say it doesn't happen at all, I mean, I have a video. I've seen a video of an alleged dogman running through the woods and jumping up in the air, and I believe that's real. Okay, and a lot of people said no, that's CGI. I don't know. So according to what Trey, I hope Trey doesn't mind me telling everybody that I talked to him today. Trey,
cool. Somebody that
cool.
knows something about it is talking about it. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I should have asked Trey to come on with us tonight, but you guys go follow Squatch Me Now, okay, on Instagram and on Facebook and all over the place. So Trey said that it's, nobody, I don't think anybody had given him any proof that it wasn't real. He said, but a lot of times AI, when you are creating an image, they totally mess up the hands. He said a lot of times you can tell in the hands, okay, whether whatever image you're looking at is, genuine or generated, I guess you could say. And so he said that he was leaning in the direction of it being probably real. Okay. Now, because I told him, I said, I am leaning in the direction of this thing maybe being real. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Okay. Yeah, and so let's just go ahead and get into the data. Okay. Because I was getting I didn't get a whole lot. I mean, I wasn't picking up immediately. Like when I went into this Target, I was picking up on like space age data, something in Utah. But what's in Utah though, right? Skinwalker Ranch. All right. So that's interesting. I didn't even think about that till just now. Oh, wow. But I picked up on, now I sent you the data, right, Barry? You've seen it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so for my sensory data for this target, when the target was whatever that creature is, or it's just the image of that creature. Okay, that's the target. I was picking up on something enlightened. I was seeing something that was a lot. I was seeing light, something very light, something I wrote down weird, caught, smooth, screaming, small, something that was controlled, which is interesting. Some of the analytic overlay, which I know, it's just me trying to make sense of some of the sensory data I was getting. I was picking up, I picked up on things like, like I said, Utah space age data, exposure and enlightenment kept coming up. I heard all the way up something that was turned up. I was picking up on something like Netflix. So like, of course, when I'm analyzing this data later on, I was like, ooh, I wonder if this is something made for a movie. Okay. Like that's kind of when I started analyzing the data later. Okay. After I did this, because this is a blind target. I didn't know what this was. Okay. So I picked up on animal control. Okay. Animal control. And in the environment, I picked up on a dog and a raccoon. Okay, so I was picking up on animals. So a dog and a raccoon were both in my data. Those were two of my tangible bits of data. That means that they were in the environment, whatever I was remote viewing, a dog and a raccoon. All right. I was picking up on something that it smelled really bad. It was very stinky. And I kept picking up on a mixed breed of something, a mixed breed. It was a nuisance. It had been litter. There was a litter. Littering or a litter is what I wrote down for AOL. Foul odor, raccoon, mixed race, mixed breed is what I put down. Mixed race, mixed breed. I wrote down firmament. I don't know what that has to do with anything. And then I wrote something. I wrote backed out last minute, whatever that means. I backed out last minute. I thought it was interesting though. That was on my second page of data. I picked up dog and raccoon.
Very interesting.
And then I heard, I wrote down target practice and target, full throttle. And then I heard, clairaudiently, I heard the destroyer. Okay, the destroyer. And then I heard, I wrote down exterminate and exterminator. So like I was obviously picking up on an animal, and I guess like the data was kind of going in the direction of like an animal that needed to either be exterminated. Okay. And, pest control or animal control comes out and gets raccoons and dogs. So that's, it is what it is. But I was also picking up on these animals, whatever this animal or animals were, had mange potentially. Mangy, yeah. And then I was picking up on there's a lot of wind, and like I wrote down Windy City, which I think is Chicago. I don't know. Okay, but I wrote down Windy City, and I heard Better Call Saul is what I heard. That's like a TV series, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but
I'm not familiar with that one. You finally got me on an entertainment reference.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's a good show, but I was picking up a combination of a dog and a raccoon. Okay, so which is freaking interesting. Okay, because yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, well, I was just gonna say because, well, I mean, it sounds to me like this through this data, it sounds like whatever this image is a real creature. Through the data, okay. Through the data, it seems as though I was picking up on so much data for whatever this thing was. It seems to correlate with that image. Okay. If you think it's a Dogman, okay, some people said Dogman, for instance, Dogman, werewolf. Okay, some people say that Dogmen have raccoon hands.
It's Tex had just told me that at the end of that show, off air, he said the Dogman that he encountered had raccoon type hands. And the first thing I looked up was raccoon hands after you mentioned that, after starting the data. And the only difference is then that the raccoons like us have 5 digits. That thing appears to only have 4. But the length of the hands and things are similar in that way. And I guess you can't see the full hand of it, but it appears to have 4 digits on each. But still, I mean, the teeth on it too are quite odd looking, And I've mentioned before the creature that I saw that had got fairly close to me one night, it's been several years ago, and this thing looked like one of those I can't pronounce the name of the Mexican hairless dogs.
The Zolos.
Zolos,
Zolos,
yes, it looked
something
like
like
that.
that.
Except I'll tell you, it did not. It was bigger than one of those dogs. It was just a little small, bigger than a Doberman Pinscher, more like almost a Great Dane. It was very large, and it was not suffering from in terms of mange as any type of malnutrition or anything like that. Unhealthy in any type of way. It did not appear that way. It looked quite healthy, but I didn't see its hands like that. But it seemed to be a type of a dog, and I've encountered another one ran by me one night. Before that, years before that, and I don't know what that was, but it was these things at night, and these things that are either quote unquote shapeshifters, skinwalkers, or just projections or things that are coming from the earth. I can't emphasize that enough. We've had so much, animal and fauna and things that exist on this planet that imprints upon the planet itself. There you go.
Yeah, these are
Five,
raccoon
five,
hands.
5 digits.
Hmm. They have
And
those
if you can,
long fingers. I mean, they're for the size of the animal. They're long fingers with claws on them, like little fingernails at the ends, and cute little hands.
question, Jessica. So in this one, you didn't pick up any type of, you said you got pest control and everything, but you didn't sense any type of laboratory deal or one of those
No,
kind of deals this time, government type of deal?
no, well, okay, I did not. No, I really didn't. But when I picked up on the target practice, um, I was like on target practice. I mean, maybe you can interpret this data however you want. You know what I mean? Like however you will. But I did pick up on target and target practice. Whatever this is has to do with. There may be somebody that's hunting them. Okay, I don't know. I'm just putting it out there because I did pick up on a target and target practice, which could correlate with that Dogman breeding program. I'm just saying. I may be reaching on that one, but I don't think so. If this is indeed a real picture, a real creature, and it is an actual Dogman, okay. Now I wasn't picking up on like Shapeshifter. Um, I didn't pick up any kind of like Skinwalker data or anything like that. I picked up on a dog and raccoon mix, basically. Um, but a mixed breed of something, a mixed breed of that, which is weird. A mixed breed.
And
Yeah.
that leads us to ponder
Oh my gosh. Those are the
where did it
raccoon
come
hands.
from? Yeah,
I didn't mean to pull it up.
where did it come from? What was its
Yeah,
origin? And hunting implies there's more than one. So where are they coming from? Where are they at? Originating at? Even and that's one part of the story that's a little bit vague. You got
oh,
two different origin locations, supposedly, right?
yes.
So
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So I had originally um when I was like setting the show up today or yes, when was that? Today or yesterday? Whenever it was. I guess it was yesterday. I wrote down in the show description box that it was out of the UK. Okay, because I didn't know. I had no idea. I didn't know what this target was. I was like, okay, so the first time when I went to go look it up to try to start analyzing all the data, I was like, okay, so it was out of the UK. But then when I contacted Trey with Squatch Me Now today, I saw that on his post, he said it was out of, now, forgive me if I mispronounce this, but Osaka, Mexico. It was out of Mexico, according to his post. So that's a red flag, Barry, in my opinion, when it comes to
you
stuff like
said
this.
Oaxaca? Is that what you said?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's how you say it. That's it.
Oaxaca.
I said Osaka.
Fascinating.
I don't know.
Oaxaca is where you used to have a lot of the Toltec activity going on. The old Toltecs.
Oh, okay.
They're in the Oaxaca area. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's fascinating. There's a couple of tribes there. Actually, what is it? The Hukiel? I can't. Hulokiel? They're them, and then there were the gosh, there's a couple of tribes there. The Yakai, I think, also. All of them had
Okay.
dealings with Toltecs. Quite interesting.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah. Oh, we got Golden Crisps. Knows how to. Okay, that's how you spell it, y'all. Okay, right there or there. River, I meant. Thank you. Okay, so we've heard stories of Dogman attacks at the U.S. southern border. Okay, I had on a Glitch in the Matrix, my daytime show, I had my friend Nick Sylvester who came on the show, and he actually talked about not only the Dogman encrypted breeding program, but he was discussing the actual attacks that had been reported from Border Patrol. Okay, and the men actually who this is the story that I was told. The Border Patrol agents who had witnessed what happened all passed away under mysterious circumstances, and the only one who survived had gone back to Mexico to visit his family. And he didn't. He did not pass away. Okay, but the story went that there were dogmen attacking people crossing the border illegally. Okay, and just massacring people, and they say it's pretty common. Okay, and we even got into the conversation about the dogmen being used by the drug cartels. Okay, and things like that down there. So dogmen are known to be down in Mexico. Okay, that's the bottom line. Okay, now is this out of Mexico? I don't know 100%. I don't know, because I'm going to say the majority of the research that I did, it was people were saying it was out of the UK, but I also heard Mexico, Barry. So if anybody knows for positive, y'all let us know. But it adds to it being potentially not being as credible. You know what I mean? Because we don't know exactly where it came from.
Mm-hmm. And you would almost think at this point, if it's a CGI type of hoax, somebody would take credit for it by now. You know,
that's true.
I mean? I would. It's causing enough row that that I would say something.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
you would think so.
That's fascinating. I still just can't let go though of the origin of it. It's because the data almost makes it seem it's anomalous, like it's a natural creature. That's just a mix of these two. That's not a natural creature. You can see that. It looks like an abomination to me.
Yeah.
Sorry, it just does.
Yeah, it does. Well, it does look like Moon at Noon. It does look like a wolf. Okay, it does look like a mangy wolf. Or some people were saying, okay, so like some of the comments I was reading today, on a lot of these posts, people were saying, well, it's just a mangy bear. It's an oversized raccoon. It's all sorts of different things. You know what I mean? Like any kind of animal. It looks mighty big though, doesn't it, Barry? It looks a little too big to be a raccoon, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, it looks much too big to be a raccoon. I agree with that, definitely.
Yeah.
It's so odd because it takes us into these quote unquote mange looking dog creatures, because that also takes us into, you remember, because we've discussed it before, excuse me, the chupacabra, how it's went from being the spiked looking gray type of an alien into being this a dog that looks quite similar to me. It looks to me like a Tasmanian tiger, what they were saying that the chupacabra was that was being seen, especially in like Texas. That looked like a Tasmanian tiger. And they say that there were breeding programs to try to save those and that they still exist. So,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that doesn't look like a Tasmanian tiger, but I was just giving another example of some of the chupacabra that they're seeing that look like that. Do look like a Tasmanian tiger. That to me looks does that look like mange to you? It doesn't really.
Well, I don't know. I can't tell. I can't tell because it looks like a night vision type of a picture. Okay, so you can't really tell. But something to note are the teeth.
Look human to you?
They look human. It doesn't have canines. It looks like it has square teeth, like we have. Okay, I don't see any kind of. I mean, it looks like it had somebody. Somebody in the chat said it looks like Gary Busey or something. That's terrible, y'all. Whoever said that.
Oh man, that's a Gary Busey, man. Man,
I saw that. Okay.
I can give you a Gary Busey joke. One day, my older brother Mitch, he tells me, man, I seen your buddy, Gary Busey. I said, my buddy? And he's like, man, aren't you part of the Traumatic Brain Injury Association? I was like, yeah. I had, I kind of access. Yeah, he goes, well, so's your buddy, Gary Busey, after he wrecked his motorcycle. So I figured you probably knew him. He's just cracking a joke, man. Poor Gary Busey, he's cooked, man.
He gets it. He gets it from every angle. He does. That poor guy.
Yeah. Anyway, but I don't know. It's interesting. Hey, can you give you took a poll of what everybody thought? Could you go over those percentages that you got?
Oh my gosh, I did. Thank you for reminding me about that. Yes. Okay. So for the audience, I did put a poll out on social media today, and it was on my Instagram. And I did not vote, by the way, just so y'all know, I didn't vote. I wasn't going to vote on this one. I want to see what you guys had to say. And the results were very interesting. Okay. I was actually not expecting this. Okay. So, hey, Lanita, I see you in here. Okay. So this was on my Instagram on my Instagram, on my stories. Okay, on my stories. You can still go vote, y'all. Y'all can still go vote right now if you want. So the question was, I put a picture of this creature on Instagram, and I said, okay, the poll is, do you think this is real? Do you think it's AI generated and fake? Or are you not sure? Okay, Barry, can you believe this? So people who thought it was real, what percentage would you think that would be? People who think it's real.
Half.
50%. 50%. You're right. You're on target. 50% of the people who were polled said they thought it was real. Okay, fake, 14%. That was it. 14%. Not sure, 38%. Yeah. Now it could be that it's my crowd, and people probably know that, like, I'm probably not going to be putting. Okay, I'm just going to let y'all in on a little secret. I usually don't put the target, like when I hit all these targets, I don't put all the targets out there to the public. Okay, unless they're going to be really good and you guys are going to love them. Okay, and they're going to be interesting and they're going to have a bunch of data to them. Okay, like I'm pretty picky about these targets that I actually make public for you guys, and so you know that if I've got something like this coming up, it's going to be a good one. So you can probably assume that it might be real, according to my data.
Yeah,
okay,
because we've done
I'm
like
just going to tell y'all.
We've done like 3 or 4 that no one knows about.
Yeah, we have a lot. Barry gives me targets pretty often, and we have not publicly disclosed all of them, not yet, but we will. So it was kind of shocking to me that there's 50% of the people thought it was real.
I mean, I was so on the fence about it at first, and when I posted it, that's why I said I'm not a CGI person. I don't know, and I got dogged anyway. But but I tell you, I mean, that's why it's so important to get somebody like your friend Trey that actually has worked with the software that can do this stuff and can give us somewhat of a baseline of what to look for in a fake one that is beyond just the stuff that's really obvious. Like we see some of those pictures going around. I mean, come on, it's obvious. Like the guy standing with the huge giant with the beard with the huge hands. I mean, that's obviously fake. I mean, come on. But others that are real that come up, and it's too easy to disqualify them. Like, for example, that ABS photo, I think it's called, which is the Bigfoot. It's back. They say it came from a game trail, or trail camera. You know what I'm talking about? It's the one that looks like the Sasquatch in the back. And you have people like M.K. Davis and Thinkthucker that analyzed that. And they started finding things on the back of this. This is a costume, look like tick bites, marks, and all these things on the back of it to show this thing to be real. And I had heard a long time ago that if Sasquatch actually gets too close to a camera that they don't detect, and they get too close, they immediately turn their back to it. And that's what they do. And that's what that thing appears to be doing. You know, so I don't know. Once again, I'll always say the word, I guess, I got quoted for today, which is food for thought, but that's really what it is, you know. And I advise anyone to go to M.K. Davis, look at that ABS photo. He analyzed it in 2 different videos.
Okay, so a lot of times cryptids, animals of any kind, they can detect infrared light. Okay, and so a lot of times these trail cams, these game cams, will emit a red light. I'll just be honest, y'all. Y'all know a lot of these cameras, especially the ones that don't cost as much. You can get like nice high-end cameras that don't have those lights. But a lot of them do, like people that put, feeding stations out or just have like game cams on their property or whatever. A lot of times that they can detect them. I'm positive that Sasquatch can see those lights. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why they avoid them. Okay, and plus they have a battery power to them, right? So they're being they're being generated with batteries or whatever. They're putting off a frequency, and they're able to detect those frequencies that us normal humans probably can't.
I also think they zapped the power out of them too. I think they used the power, the Ron Moorhead thing. They start using those. Why do batteries go dead around them? There's got to be a reason for that. Wow. The thing is that with these cameras, like, I'll give you an example. Okay, I got to mention the name. Obviously, it seems to kind of push poor Bigfoot Michigan Rob to the edge. My buddy Tom Powell, But when we were taking pictures, and the lady taking the pictures was saying, my brother he lives in another state. He's got those things on his property. And he's saying that they're taking his livestock and it's costing him a fortune. But he can't even see them, let alone catch them or do anything about it. And he's wanting to know what to do about it. And Tom looks at her, he says, we're taking this picture. He goes, oh, tell her to put up cameras, a bunch of them. They'll be gone just like that. And man, I start laughing. And he's looking at me, he goes, oh, I'm serious, though, Barry, I'm serious. And I said, where you go? He goes, I'm sure after the experiences he had that they clowned him, the Sasquatch clowned him with the cameras. He said, I'm pretty sure that they can see them, like you just mentioned, but they can hear them. And he said also he thought that they could smell them due to not just the human smell on them, but the mechanics and the grease that's used in the contraptions themselves, that they can smell all that stuff.
Yeah.
And and who's to say who am I to say he's wrong? But he had mentioned how he went to this place near I want to say, was it Mount St. Helens or one of those mountains there in Oregon, and had so much activity on his property, and he put up the cameras, and the activity would go on the other side, and that kept happening for like 2 years. He got nothing, and then he started finding out about MindSpeak, and he starts talking to everybody, and he brings it up to this farmer and his wife. He said, "Oh yeah, we get this here," and he says, "Why didn't you tell me that?" He said, "We didn't want you to think we were crazy." And the lady says, in fact, I started smoking again. I was outside. They were talking to me the other night, telepathically. And he's like, well, what did they say? Stop trying to trick us. And then he looks at me. He said, Barry, I knew they were talking about me and the cameras.
Oh, yeah. They're smart. They're smart. Well, I know guys that go out in teams to do like Dogman investigations, and they cover some of these guys. Like, listen, my team does not go this far. Okay, so this is not my team, y'all. But there's at least one person I know who says that he will cover his firearms and whatever they've got out there with like coconut oil and like other like oils to cover up the smell of the firearms. Okay, and stuff. So that grease, like they grease them up with natural oils and stuff. Okay. So because they can detect it, it's like they're like dogs. They're like dogs, right? Which is super, super interesting. Okay. But wow, Long Island Bigfoot. Thank you for that super sticker. That is so sweet of you. I'm sorry I skipped over that earlier. I didn't see it. So thank you. That means the world to me. I appreciate you. Yeah. Okay, so there are so many images, Barry, of AI generated creatures. Okay, creatures. And so anytime that I see something online now, I can pretty much tell right away if it's AI generated. Like it's something, I don't know if it's just something that has like a generalization of like it has some sort of smoothness to it. I know that sounds weird, but it may have like a smoothness to it or something like that.
The more primitive ones, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is just some examples, y'all. I mean, and of course, it's like a spider bunny. Okay,
You mean to tell me that's not real?
that ain't real. That ain't real. Okay,
Damn it!
that's
Damn
not
it!
real. Okay, but it's got like that.
I
It's got
thought
that really. It's got that super smooth look to it. You know what I mean? Like it just something about it just is off. You know, and I've been seeing a lot of sites like on social media posting pictures of like giant Bigfoots with like people from the 1800s. It's
those
like
are terrible.
those aren't.
But that
I
one
just
right
don't
there
think
is.
those aren't real. Okay,
Did
stuff
that
like
one?
that.
Isn't that the thing that gives you tricks? That the cereal, the
I
cereal.
mean, check this out. This is some like AI generated stuff right here. Okay, um, and it's like because I only found these when I was looking up AI. I was looking up AI generated animals and stuff, right? Just to kind of get an example of kind of because I don't do AI generated stuff. I don't even know how. I'll figure it out one day. But this is like a swamp creature, Bigfoot kind of thing that somebody made, and then we've got stuff like this. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, all
You
this
know,
stuff.
I'll tell you an AI pic that got, or a CGI picture that got me years ago. It was the melanated lion. It's a There's a couple pictures of melanated lions, black lions, and I thought
Okay,
a couple of those might be real, but they weren't. They got me. I got. It just had
you
happens,
got
you know.
yes. Well, it's just difficult to tell these days, you know, what's real and what's not, and that's why we're so skeptical of this picture that I've remote viewed for the show tonight. We're very
you know,
skeptical of stuff like this.
Why I got you here, and this is something we can share with the audience. So, what do you think about that clip that I sent you earlier? Okay, I sent Jessica a clip earlier, and it's this massive Sasquatch that they're calling it a huge unit. And at first, you assume it just must be some type of a suit, some person in a suit, and it may be, but I mean, it's odd, isn't it? And the fact that only as
Okay,
much as we can say is the people that are filming it don't seem to be saying much or saying anything or freaking out, but it's
yes.
just was odd, and it's stuff like
Okay.
that that makes it really difficult. What do you think about that?
Okay, that's a video that's been going around for a long time, for a while, and I think everybody will recognize if I describe it. I don't have a picture or a video tonight,
Never
but it's
seen
like
it.
a. I've been seeing it for a little while. It's a gigantic, stocky, big, thick Sasquatch, and it's walking away, and these two men are speaking calmly, and they're speaking in Russian or another language. Okay, it sounds like Russian to me. The thing's walking off. I never saw its face, but it's got long red hair, and it's got legs that are the size of tree trunks and arms that go down past its knees. And
Feet
it's
is like
walking into the woods, and it's huge, but you'd think it would make the whole ground shake because it was so big, but it's pretty smooth when it walks. And I've never heard if that's real or not. I don't know.
you
Um,
know. Two things about that one.
mhm.
One is I sent you those other clips. It was MK Davis doing the analysis of what he calls the tractor Sasquatch, the tractor shed Sasquatch. He did two of those videos. And this thing is so wide, it's like he kept saying it's as big as a Kodiak bear, and the
That's
wideness
right.
of it. And this thing was nearly the size of this tractor. It was unreal. And and there's things like that. And then that is, I think, the real side of it. And you've got something else that is a fake side that came out years ago, but it just disappeared. Our boy Thinker Thunker had done a video over this thing, looked like some type of a huge Sasquatch, the size of that, going in it, and it turns out it was for a movie of some type, and it was some type of a suit. He just erased that from his whole channel, but he got taken on that one. He thought it was
Yeah.
right, it was real, and it turns out it wasn't. To a point to where some people even produced the suit that thing was,
Yeah.
and for what they were making it for. So could that have been something like that we were seeing possible? I mean, the odds are really high, but bottom line, we still don't know, because we know that some of these things, like that was the size of like the Paul Freeman Sasquatch, wouldn't you say? Or maybe a little
Yeah.
bigger.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and and unfortunately, there's a lot of like competition, a lot of people that are putting out videos every day about so and so is a hoaxer, and they did this. And, one thing, one little tiny thing that could be a complete accident, and you've got a pack of wild hyenas coming at you to destroy you because you put something out there that wasn't real, and or whatever. So it's just There's just people waiting like vultures for somebody like Thinker Thunker or anybody to put that is kind of the go-to to see if things are real or not. To put stuff out there that's not real. And it's just the way, it's just the day and the time right now, I guess. Aussie Stu,
You
thank
know,
you so much for that super sticker. I appreciate that so
in,
much. Thank you.
in his defense, he since then has developed that body ratio thing. I don't think it would
Okay.
be as easy to take him now. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be nearly as easy to trick him now with that body ratio thing he's got going. You'd have to have one heck of a suit.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and that suit, the suit with the guys that were speaking what I thought to be Russian, um, that would be hard for anybody. I mean, you had to be a really hefty person to get in something like that. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
somebody has analyzed it.
I've got schematics of that suit that was used for that thing with the Thinker Thunker thing. I'll send them to you. I've got pictures of that. Like, actually, they've got the hands and the whole thing that was used. And to be honest with you, when you saw it actually in motion, it looked pretty real. Maybe more real than the one we just saw, but I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's real interesting. You know, it's so hard to tell, and that sucks because it muddies the water of this whole thing. So.
It does. It does. It does. It does muddy the waters. It does. Poncho, thank you. Poncho. Poncho was watching me at work yesterday, I think. Okay, thank you. I don't have to pay you to watch my show. Thank you. I hope your boss is paying you, hopefully, during the day to watch my show. I'm just kidding. Thank you for that super chat, the super sticker. That's so sweet. I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay. Lenita said that she saw it and the forest man looked real, is what she said. And I think she's talking about that red haired one that we're discussing. So it definitely looks real. But I don't know. It's my go-to people are for these kind of videos would be like an MK Davis or a Thinker Thunker. Okay. I think
Yeah.
those are
And
people
that's
to
what
go
I'm
to.
wondering. Why didn't he do that one? I mean, I never seen that till last week, a week ago. I'd never seen that. And that's why I'm curious why none of them analyzed that one. That's a prime one to do, you know?
Exactly.
I mean, and the thing is, I mean, to be honest with you, the thing that makes me wonder if it's crap or not would be the size of that foot. My Lord, that's one heck of, it'd be hard to walk in that, you know, even for a
Yes.
prank. So
Yes.
that's
Well, that's actually part of what Trey from Squatch Me Now, who I sent a message to today. He's a filmmaker, a documentarian, and so they actually have a suit which was very expensive to make. Okay, and they have a man who walks around. I think his name is Biggin. His name is Biggin. Or Big Gun. I think you can find it as Big Gun on Instagram. He's got his own Instagram page. But they put this guy in a suit, in a Bigfoot suit. He's a gigantic, tall guy, and he told me he told us on the show a while back. He said you'd be surprised that like people don't even notice him sometimes. Like standing on the side of the road, people ride right by him and don't even notice him. So because we were talking about how can people not see Bigfoot so often and stuff. And but anyways, that's besides the point of what we're
pretty
talking
dangerous,
about.
isn't it?
It's
Pretty
not safe to
dangerous.
go out into the woods wearing anything with hair on it, covering your whole body, because there are hunters out there. Some of them may have been drinking all day. You got to be careful, y'all. Okay. Some people are made to shoot at anything. All right. So just
You
be
know,
careful with that.
on Bigfoot Project, I think it is Bigfoot Project. One of those stories they've got about this guy that was Cub Scout leader or something, and he's put on this Bigfoot suit, gorilla suit, to try to scare the kids. And then he runs around, he's hiding out there, and when he comes out of the hiding spot, a real Sasquatch is there looking at him like, what the hell? And he's all tripped out. Yeah, it was quite interesting. Yeah, it was quite interesting. Said that that one right along with the fact that I'd heard one about Capone shooting Sasquatch. Didn't kill it, but they say he shot one.
I've never heard that. What?
Really? Yeah.
Al
YouTube that.
Capone?
Yeah, YouTube that. Gangster shoots Sasquatch. There's some town where he owned like the logging company that did all the logging up there and stuff or something like that. And he'd go up there and apparently after dinner he would go walk on the edge of this forest or something with smoke his cigar. And these things were breaking in the chicken coop and he shot it by the chicken coop. Like I guess his bodyguards would be behind him to a degree because it's the only time he could have by himself. And he was ahead of them when he got near this chicken coop and he started shooting at it. And they ran over there. He said, "I'm shooting at that monkey man in there. He's been stealing the chickens."
Okay, that would make a great movie. I would watch that. Anybody makes documentaries, y'all look
It's
into
another
that
one.
one.
I can't. What is that lady's name? Lynn that does the Project Bigfoot. I mean, she's kicking out those things every day for a long time. Those accounts. I give her a lot of credit. She'd be somebody cool to meet, I think. So,
Okay, I
Lynn
don't know who you're
Smith.
talking about.
Lynn Smith, Project Bigfoot Project.
Okay.
Yeah, she's got sometimes her daughter or somebody narrates them too. Good reader, and tons of people send stuff in, and she's been doing it probably a couple of years. So you can check that out, Bigfoot Project on YouTube. It's kicking.
Okay. Awesome! I'm gonna check that out. I'll check that out. And okay, this is Stargazer. Oh my gosh, y'all! Brandy came and met me at the Georgia Bigfoot. Or it wasn't Georgia. It was the Molina Bigfoot Festival about 2 or 3 weeks ago. The Stargazer came, and it was so awesome. I actually sat there and talked to Brandy for a while until I realized who she was because I was like, "What's your name online?" I was like, "So okay." It's really funny how you meet people in person that we're friends with here online that are in our chats and stuff, and we feel like we've known them forever. And then you meet them in person. You're like, "Wait, what's your screen name?" Okay, so
yeah, it is kind of.
Isn't that awesome?
I like that name because that was Captain Picard's first ship. Was the Stargazer? Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Sorry, I go geek every now and again. Can't help it.
Yes. Yeah, you do. But it's okay. That's why we love you. That's why we love you. Thank you, Brandy. That's so sweet. You're amazeballs too, girl. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Check out the movie called The Brother from Another Planet. Check that movie out.
Brother from Another Planet. Okay.
Yeah, from the '80s, starring Joe Morton. It's a heavy movie. The Brother from Another Planet. Yeah.
Okay, we'll check that out for sure. We'll check that out for sure.
I'm just throwing stuff out there.
No, it's awesome. That's great. Okay, so this thing that I've remote viewed, this creature, Barry, it looks like something that could absolutely be out of like a movie. It could be AI generated. I mean, okay, so when I was doing my research today on this, I have seen all these videos of dogmen, alleged dogmen. Okay, and people just say, okay, here's what I've concluded is that a lot of these dogman cases that I see, there's a dogman that looks like it's dying on a table, it's breathing hard, it's panting. Of course, people just say there's like a whole list of people that say, oh, it's fake, it's for a movie. I never have gone further to investigate that because I take that at face value. Okay. What if, just like with this AI generated picture, there's a lot of people just saying, well, it's AI, because they heard it was AI and they, in their minds, they believe it's AI. What if these things are not all AI? Okay. And we just accept like, oh, somebody said that it's fake. So they're not, what if a lot of these things that we're seeing that we hear are fake? You know, people just say, no, that's from a movie. What if it's not really from a movie? I don't know. I think we just need to look into this stuff a little more if we want to get to the bottom of these dogmen that we see online and stuff. Because I think a lot of them could be real. This is my opinion. I think there's people that put out misinformation and stuff to throw us off to say they're fake and it's just AI too. So food for thought, Barry.
You know, I had seen something. I'll just throw this out there. I've seen something that's been a few years ago now, probably about 5 years ago, even 6 or 7. But it was this clip of this thing putting its head over a child's head, like a younger person. And it was one of those supposed hybrid reptilians that can along their jaw, like the snakes do, and raise their jaw and like elongate their jaw, and it's covering this kid up, this head. And it was so gruesome, Jessica. And to me, it looked absolutely real. And if somebody tried to say later, oh, it was for a movie, but no one could say what movie it was or anything. I've never found it out. And that thing got pulled to a point of where if you even had a clip of it, they'll shut you down, you know? But it's stuff like that that surfaces every now and again. And, I'd long since heard Credo Mutua talked about how some of those reptilians and some of the hybrid ones that he called Shatari that we just talked about in that last show on Space Radio. Really good one. I advise everybody check that out. It's just a few days ago. But he talked about, he calls them Shatari, but he talked about a type of Shatari that ate people. So, I mean, it's, it's
8 people.
it's just stuff like that. And we're so easy, like you said earlier, CGI, AI, and to throw out the water with the baby with the bathwater really quick. And we have to be careful because sometimes the best way to give disclosure is in plain sight. The obvious is usually overlooked.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Speaking of disclosure, my friend Brian, actually, you met Brian in Vegas at your conference. Brian Singh. This is my buddy Brian, y'all. Full disclosure now. Thanks for your work, y'all. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Thank you for your support.
Nice. Yeah. Didn't get to talk to him as much as I would have liked to. We were in the Velvet Room. Pretty cool place that was, but I couldn't hear what he was saying as much, but he's a nice cat. He's got the right idea. Really cool dog, too.
Oh, he had his dog. Do you have Winnie there? He had Winnie there. That's awesome. Yeah, because I am 100% into full disclosure when it comes to stuff like this. That's why I do what I do. I love doing this. I love doing these remote viewing targets. It's just another way to look into things from a different angle. I'm not saying that remote viewing is the end all be all. I mean, I just get data. That's all I get when I do these targets. It is coordinate remote viewing. I do get a lot of information, a lot of data. It's up for interpretation. Okay. It can be interpreted in all sorts of ways, but I'm just getting data. So I do it for fun. And I think this has been a pretty fun target tonight. We don't have any reports of this creature hurting anybody. We don't even have proof that it's AI. Now, like I said in the beginning of the show, I know a lot of you guys probably weren't here at the beginning of the show, but if anybody has proof that this is AI, please send it to us because I would love to see it. I mean, it might be AI. It might be, but my data is suggesting that it's some sort of a real creature. And that's the bottom line.
I think something else is that we have to really take in what you're doing as serious, and now the remote viewing thing is getting so popular and you've been doing it for a long time. And you see how many people now say that they're remote viewers are not doing the real systems that you've been taught and others have been taught. So there's this, I think there's some discrepancy going on, but the real data collecting remote viewing being done right now, I think that is also the way of the future in terms of when dealing with the type 1 and type 2 civilization, how they're also exploring space and other civilization is through this remote viewing. I was doing these exercises, one that was by B.S. Stein, and it's a pranayama breath. It's called the dog breath. It's quite odd, looks a bit ridiculous, but boy, it'll oxygenate your blood. And I kind of got, kind of lightheaded after I got done. And I get done, I kind of fall into what would be like an alpha type of state, technically. And I start observing these in a darkened room. I caught these beings remote viewing me. Couldn't believe it. I caught them, and then they're looking at each other like, "Oh God!" They're in these booth-looking things, and they were like, "Oh God, he caught us." Kind of the same thing that people that remote view the moon say that they encounter when those beings there turn around and look at them or start communicating with them that they're beings. Oh my God, they can see me in my dream body, in my energy body. So I think seriously, when dealing with that and dealing with how much these conscious waves we've talked about on this show, the black holes and all that deals with these conscious waves and the Akashic records working on brain waves, it's very important, I think, when talking about remote viewing in that way and how the universe can be looked at in that way, almost as neurons, a neuron type of network, which is, again, part of our brain, the neurological. It's real interesting. Yes. Some things are just becoming more illuminated as we go forward, because no matter how people want to look at it, the contact scenario, this paranormal scenario, it's a conscious event. They're conscious events. And the truth is, we're beings of perception. We perceive creation. Creation flows through us. We perceive. Communicate with a tree. Tree will tell you we're stationary beings that just perceive and respond to stimuli. We're not much different. We just don't live as long.
That's right. And I'm not remote viewing that moon ever again, y'all. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not going back. We're not talking about it anymore. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. That was a touchy subject, Barry. When you said that, I was like, I'm not doing that again.
According to Stan, everybody believes that fake book of Stanley Kubrick, that fake video. We didn't even go there, so don't worry about it. It's all fake. It's from the movie. It's all from the movie 2001: Space Odyssey. Don't even worry about it. Which is very long, by the way. It was an extremely long movie. Goodness, mostly symphony music too. But it is what it is.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was the only proverbial knock at my door that I ever got, was that Target. For everybody that's listening tonight, that's watching today, whenever y'all are watching and listening, I did remote view the Apollo 11 moon landing, and I did. I got a little bit of pushback on that one. So yeah, that was I did not disclose everything that I got. I don't know why that was such a touchy subject there, and I value breathing. Is all I gotta say. Okay, and I didn't feel like it was that serious, but apparently it is.
Said the same thing. At one point he was remote viewing for the government at one point. And then when he started his right hemispheric thing, he was told, "Don't look at the moon again." Yeah. And so without saying anything, we can't. Technically, anybody that reads Ingo Swann's book,
Penetration.
Penetration. That's what that's all about. Was him looking at the moon. It's really what that was about.
It's an awkward name for a book, but it's okay. I'm just kidding. We're talking about psychic penetration.
The lady in the supermarket was odd. The lady in the supermarket, and I'm wondering what race was she? You know what I'm saying? From where?
Oh,
you read that book, right?
I've read part of it. I haven't finished the whole book yet, but I have it. I have it.
Yeah. We'll come back to that time. That's what B was talking about. The woman in the supermarket. Yeah. And and that was in LA, I believe. And my brother lived in LA for like 14, 15 years. And he's had some experiences, but he said, you know how easy it is for people, you got all these makeup artists and Hollywood and everything. The people walking around out there, it take nothing for somebody from somewhere else to just walk around. Especially, as he said, especially during Halloween. It's the oddest thing you'd ever seen. I believe that. Hollywood in LA. Oh Lord, Halloween in LA, Hollywood. Oh Lord.
I bet it's fun. Lanita, thank you for that super sticker. That's so sweet of you. Thank you for being here tonight. And Christine C is right. They can't stop the truth forever. Okay. And so that's what disclosure is all about. You can't hide it all forever. And
that's cool.
Yeah, and that is why sometimes when I first started learning remote viewing, it was about 12 years ago, and I was taught we got to be very careful about some of the things that we do remote view. It is dangerous on a energetic level, and spiritual level, and in a 3D level.
Like what? Besides the moon, what else?
Oh, I'm just talking about in general, just like where you're going. I mean, that's why I only do targets from people that I trust. I only take targets because, when I'm given a set of coordinates, I don't know what those coordinates are. Okay. I can't, I don't know what they are. I just get a set of numbers. So I have to trust that whoever's giving me those numbers is not going to send me somewhere that I'm not supposed to be, or somewhere that's going to put me in danger. And so that's why I have a handful of people that I'll take targets from, and that's it. You're one of them, Barry.
Well, thank you. So I wonder. So then, would you be able to remote view? So would it be like illegal if you remote view? Have you ever heard about the black Space Mona Lisa?
I might have already remote viewed that. I don't know. We'll talk after the
It,
show.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Is that considered a moon target, or is that different?
It's on the moon. Yeah, it's on the moon.
Oh, it is. It is. Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That's interesting. There's a crashed spaceship on the moon, y'all. Okay. There's a crashed ship in a crater on the moon, I do believe. So yeah, that's another interesting one. We could talk about that one day. I think that's a cool one, actually. We could talk about that. Maybe it's just the Apollo 11 is a really touchy one though. So
we
it's
should,
it's the
because
ones
there's
that are
been
super touchy. You got to pay attention to those. Okay.
so much argument about whether that was real or not. That Space Mona Lisa. And I will tell you why I kind of thought that maybe it wasn't. I saw this like it was like these guys. They were foreign, and they were putting all that stuff together, the body, the ship, all that stuff, and they were filming it.
That's right.
And so it made me think that was probably always fake, But I mean, ultimately, I don't know. But I mean that the way that video of these guys making all that just disappeared makes me very, very curious. I couldn't find it anywhere ever again. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything. That could be disinformation. Just like Stanley
Yeah.
Kubrick. That wasn't even Stanley Kubrick on that video saying, "Oh, it's fake." Wasn't even him. Looked like him though.
Was it AI and CGI? I'm just kidding. I mean,
No, I don't think.
there's
I think it was
another deep
somebody
fake.
from the Actors Guild. I think.
Yeah. Another deep. Well, that's kind of like tying into what we're talking about tonight with this creature that I was one of my remote viewing targets. Excuse me, target is the deep fakes. The AI. Like it's going to be so difficult, especially from here on out, especially in our future, to know what's what. And I mean, I just did a show with Dennis yesterday about the magic mirrors and this technology with like the even the black mirror technology, like portal technology. We've got human cloning, we got consciousness transference technology, and projects like Project Pegasus and Montauk Project, and I don't Looking
Conscious
Glass, and
transfer
there's just
technology.
yeah, there's just a
You think
lot of
so?
weird stuff going on. It's like if we don't already question our realities, we're going to be questioning our realities here pretty soon, even more with all of this AI deep fake stuff coming up too.
Hmm. And something else we need to acknowledge too is that the whole contact scenario, they're attempting to hijack that. The whole narrative of that is being hijacked right in front of our eyes, and it's being converted completely to this SSP thing. And I'm not discrediting those people that are SSP. I believe that they're being subjected to the hive mind. I really do. I think what they think they're going through is real, but it's an attack going on. And in that way, that whole narrative is being hijacked to where the positive contact from those civilizations that no longer exist, but they still live within the Mako you and I talked about, within the Akashic records, and they can actually interact with us through our brains, through this Akashic records. But we're so saturated with both being hit with energy weapons, saturated with negative encounters, that we are strong enough that when they're trying to contact us through our brains, our will, we start warping that into something negative because we've been just absolutely just inundated with negative encounters. And a negative part of all this, that needs to really be taken into account. And I'm by no reason discrediting those people that are SSP and all that, but there's that whole thing is also a narrative that is being very, very much pushed as disclosure, and that's not full disclosure, okay? And I say this, and I'm not joking about this because something that I'll probably do a video on this. Somebody like Ray Hernandez that did that huge survey with free CCRI contact modalities amongst about 4,000 contactees. Somebody tried to purchase all that from him and try to get all that whole study from him because they're going to change the narrative of it. He talks about it. It's important for people to know that. And at this point of contact and evolution consciously, we have to really be aware of these things and these pitfalls and these things that are being auto-suggested to people. Oh, fake alien invasion, all these things that are taking us off a timeline that could be first contact, positive first contact. I think that's why, right now there's so many of these cryptids being seen, not just the ones that are engineered, but these others that seem to be echoes and phantoms of the earth. There's something going on right now. The amount of conscious people that are being born with past life memories, aware.
Yeah.
I think it's the chance for humanity to save itself. This place is in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we may be in trouble, but keep your head on a swivel, everybody. Keep your head on a swivel. And walking lightly, yes. He's asking, is it different if you develop remote viewing 12 years ago than it is now? Or the subconscious template's different? I think it's the same, personally. I think it's the same. I mean, the things that we were taught remote viewing 12 years ago are not going to be much different than they would be today. I don't think it'd be any different. I was taught the Ingo Swann methods of remote viewing. Okay. And that's not changed. And somebody else in the chat was asking about if it was Ingo Swann that remote viewed the moon. Yes, we had just talked about that. Definitely he did remote view the moon. He did write a book about it. It's called Penetration.
Mm-hmm. The Quest for Human Extraterrestrial Telepathy. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what that book is mainly about. And before he had died, that book was going on Amazon for $400 or $500, used copies. I'm sure they're considerably down now, but that was
it's way less now.
The point of where I first saw that, I went up to Barnes and Noble, or Borders it was. I went up to Borders and had the guy up there. I said, "Man, type this book. I'm gonna see if I'm seeing this right." He was looking. He goes, "It was like $500 at that point." He goes, "What?" He goes, "This must be really important." I was like, "Yeah, I guess." I just want to make sure that I wasn't like suffering from computer fatigue or something, but I was seeing this right. And then he died, and it seemed like the price of it went down by hundreds and hundreds. Probably get a copy now for $50 or something, but it's very fascinating. He wrote several books, but that's the one that went for a lot of money. I was a big fan, and one of my favorite movies of all time would be an 80s movie called Dreamscape with Dennis Quaid and Max von Sydow that played Ming and Flash Gordon. But that he's a psychic who can go into the dreamscape with the aid of technology at first. But when you look at Max von Sydow and Dennis Quaid, both of them are technically supposed to be Ingo Swann. Pretty sure. And that was about him. Mm-hmm. He worked at what institute was that where he was doing the stuff Max von Sydow was doing, testing other psychics. Interesting stuff. Really is.
Wow. We need more people to tap into their psychic abilities. And and that's why part of why I like doing this show is to be an example for everybody. Is like, look, if I can do this, y'all can do this. Okay. And I know I've been training and remote viewing for a long time, for a bunch of years, but we're all psychic. Okay. We can all, if you've got the knowledge, everybody can remote view, and it doesn't have to be the types of remote viewing I do. It's just tapping into your psychic abilities and your telepathy, okay? And exercising your psychic muscles. It's so important that we all do that. And be cautious and conscious of what you're ingesting into your bodies, and making sure that we're not drinking all that fluoride in our water. Get a good water filter, y'all. I know this is kind of a little commercial break that I'm taking right now, but yeah, let's everybody work on tuning into our psychic abilities a little bit, and just noticing energy shifts, and the moods and the energies that people are putting off around us, and the frequencies. Because I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I've noticed. I've done a lot of like spiritual healing work and stuff over the past like 3, 4, or 5 years, and my tribe has kind of changed a little bit, okay, because my vibe has changed. And I'm not the same person that I used to be. I don't hang around the same people that I used to hang around and stuff, because I've noticed. I just noticed stuff like that now, and I think that we're in a place in human consciousness right now where everybody's just kind of gravitating to their people. You know what I mean? Like to your tribe and stuff. And I know everybody watching my show, you guys are super switched on. You guys are super psychic, whether you know it or not, because you wouldn't be watching a remote viewing show probably if you weren't. I'm just saying. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
and remember though, it's cool psychic, but like every psychic is not a medium, but every medium is a psychic. They're different gifts. Just saying, everyone needs to be aware of
Yes,
that. You know what I
that's
mean?
right.
And we've got some people that will claim to be like huge contactees and all these other things, but they're not mediums. How does that work exactly?
Yeah.
Food for
Well, I
thought
mean,
again.
because mediums are well. Well, here's the thing: mediums are actually talking with people who are deceased or things like that, right? So
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that you're tuned into that. I mean, maybe it's just there are certain levels where people's psychic abilities or their psychic gifts kind of open up, I guess. And some people are born with it. Some people get them later in life. Some people never get them. Okay, but I think it's all about being aware of it and wanting that. Okay, and attracting that and being that vortex that Abraham Hicks talks about, right? Where you open up to things and you become that vortex. And when you're ready, your gifts are gonna come at you and open up.
It's about storing enough free energy to where it turns into personal power. That's how that
Okay.
works. By storing personal power, free energy, and storing that, so much of our energy is absolutely absorbed by just keeping this solid. The third dimensional, paying your bills, taking care of your kids, going to school, all these other problems down here, that takes most of our free energy. Okay, when you can do things that actually freeze energy from those modalities, then that's when you start challenging things to the other side of awareness, like right side of awareness, left side of awareness. People want to say right, left, brain, whatever, but really the left side of awareness is where death lies, the God force, the death state, dream state. All those things are left side of awareness. All things that keep this solid here are on the right side. So they're so consumed, all of our energy, that there's very little for the meditation, for the dreaming, for these things. That's why a lot of people, when they go to sleep, you're out. I was like that for most of the time. I had to really free up energy here in this dimension and do things that are not without routine and things that freed up enough energy so I can maintain dream attention and have better dream attention when I go to sleep. There are things like that because, like I said, we're beings of perception and beings of awareness. And that needs to be really acknowledged, I think.
That's right. It does. Phase Will, thank you for that super chat. I appreciate that very much. Um, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So I think, like I said, I think most people in my chat tonight, they know they're psychic. Even you, Eric, Paranormal Highway, I see you in there. You're psychic too, buddy. And I know that Eric is actually super psychic because he had an incident, Barry, where he and his brother went to a Civil War reenactment, and it was super real. And it turns out they weren't having a Civil War reenactment that day, but they were in the middle of one, which was odd. That's a whole other story. Y'all go to Paranormal Highway on YouTube and y'all check that out. Be sure to subscribe over there to Eric's channel. That's really cool. Yeah, some people they don't realize they're psychic or mediums, I guess, because that would be mediumship abilities. That if you're seeing things that aren't there and interacting with people who are in a different dimension or passed over, So yeah, that
Mhm.
was something.
Mhm.
It was something.
Yep.
Definitely
And
something.
you've got the different types of earthbound spirits too. That I mentioned before. Those that are outside the energy field, and those are ones that medium I could pick up. And they'll give me even
Yeah.
survival evidence or whatever is needed to relate to the person. But they're the others that are joined to the energy field, a certain organ or area of the body, and then the general energy field, and they're so entwined that you can't detect them on the outside. They only express themselves through negative behavior patterns. Excuse me, I can't say that enough. And when you get somebody in like theta state, almost delta, these dead people will come forward if you know how to do it. So this is,
Wow.
and you can cross them. And the fact that every person, and I guarantee you, almost every person listening on here got anywhere from 2 to 5 of them attached to them. This is how it is.
Ew. I've had attachments. I've had at least two attachments that I know of before, and it was weird. That's weird stuff, y'all. Um, having a soldier from the Civil War attached to me. I did not like that feeling. That was really weird.
And the ones I'm talking about, it only goes to the realm of possession, really, because it's so
Ooh,
unknown. It's unknowing, and they're ruining people's lives. It's the stuff that caused them to die. If you have an alcoholic that drank himself to death, he's still wanting more drinks, so he's done jump to. He's in your body. He's pushing you to go have drinks, and that's behavior is coming out in you, and you don't know why it is. All of a sudden, you need a drink. You weren't like that before. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
that's right.
I'm using this as an example, not you, but I'm just example. But stuff like that we have to be aware of, because on this planet, there are all these layers of crap, layers of trauma. It's a trip. We're not even talking about the demonic here. We're just talking about earthbounds and cryptids. There's all this other stuff, these demons, oh Lord.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I use my Civil War attachment as an excuse for going out and having fun and drinking at night with my friends. That was my excuse. He liked to party, I guess.
We were young though. It's still different, isn't it? You get a
That Union
vibe.
soldier, he liked to party. He did. He liked to go to the bar and the lounge. He liked to go to Claremont Lounge with me. Okay. Anyways,
Yeah.
let's get back on subjects. We need to wrap it up tonight, Barry. This has been such a fun show. It's been a very interesting show, to say the least. And wow, any final thoughts on our Dogman werewolf thingamajig that I remote viewed tonight?
No, I think still the question is out. Still, is it a skinwalker or a werewolf or just some type of hybrid creature? But I think kind of the question's still out on that. But whatever it is, it's abnormal, and everything, the data you have, our intuitions, everything is pushing towards this being real. Sorry, it is what it is. So if it is fake, please somebody send in the information. Like the person that told me today, they researched it and they know for a fact it's fake. And I said, well, give me the evidence. Please give me proof. They just disappeared, which tells me two things. Yeah. One is they're buying time to try to research and find out how they can prove what they just quoted off, but they should have showed evidence in the first place. And so they're buying time. Pretty obvious. You know what I mean? And even then, if they find something, I'd still like to hear about it. Anybody that knows, somebody that knows these programs, they can show that easily. This is that. I'd like to know.
Yeah. Me too. Well, the data did have dog and raccoon in it. Okay. Dog and raccoon were two tangibles that I actually was picking up on as part of my coordinate remote viewing data. So people do say that dogmen have raccoon type hands. Okay. So it's just interesting. Like I said, I just got a whole lot of data that was in my data. It didn't say Dogman. It didn't say Skinwalker. It didn't say any of that stuff, but that was some of the part of my data. And so it's up for interpretation. That was just what I was seeing, what I was sensing. And it did have some kind of weird little hands like this. Okay. Those are raccoon hands.
Just 4 digits instead of 5, it seems to have. But they are long like that. Hey, Jessica, so did you get the vibe that this thing was malevolent or what?
Well, I did. Well, I did pick up on target practice and stuff. I mean, I wasn't picking up on. I did pick up destroyer. Remember that was in the data, destroyer, and it was a nuisance. Whatever this is a nuisance. And
like a coyote's a nuisance.
I guess so. Well, and I like pest, like something like pest control, animal control needs to come pick up. Okay. So just a nuisance. I don't know. A nuisance doesn't mean that it's like, when I think of a nuisance, I think of like, it just is getting on my nerves. It's not hurting anything, but it's messing up my garden. Do you know what I mean?
Immediately
that's what a nuisance would be.
When I looked at the data and saw the pest control thing you had written on there, what came to my mind immediately was like some type of a team that's sent out to hunt these things. Because they were
I know, right?
Critter
control. Critter control. That's what I call it. It's critter control.
And that one guy you had on that was the military guy talking about the Dogman projects. Didn't he say that they had teams like that went out and hunted them when they got out of control or something like that?
Yes, that is what they say. There's that one guy named Victor that came forward that claims to be part of that werewolf breeding program, and with the United States government or something, I guess, some kind of contractors, and they go hunt down these. They got them chipped and collared and all that stuff, according to what he says. So
I wouldn't
yeah,
doubt
but
it.
I did have that gentleman on my show that night, Dwayne. Y'all remember Dwayne? And he was on my show. He was saying that he's got a team that goes out and hunts down. He does critter control. Let's just say y'all know what I'm saying. He does critter control. So yeah, it can be interpreted that way, 100%. And like I said, if anybody would like full access to my remote viewing data, it's in my Patreon over there. I put all of my, like the pictures that I show and everything here, and some all the information for my shows. It's all in my Patreon. So it's like Cliff's notes over there on Patreon of everything that I do for all these targets with all the data there too. So yeah, shout out to all my Patreon members, man. I love you guys. Thank y'all so much for supporting me and in these shows, and Barry, thank you for just being here and giving me this knowledge and always giving me these amazing like targets that you give me and stuff. And I think we make a pretty good team when it comes to this kind of going over the data and stuff.
Oh,
so
it's a pleasure working with you as
thank
always.
you.
Yeah. And this is one I was no expert on this one, so I'm winging it as we go.
Me too.
Wow.
Me
So
too.
people keep saying dog soldiers. It's odd how that keeps coming up. You know, I was watching. I don't know. We gotta go, but I had this thing I was watching on Michael Rosenbaum that played Lex Luthor on Smallville. He has a thing called Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, and he did an interview with Rick Baker. And Rick Baker specifically was talking about the making of American Werewolf in London. And you know, he addressed everything except for the one scene that was like the Nazis. The werewolves came in as Nazis and shot dude's family up. Do you remember that? That was the first time I'd seen Dogman werewolves described as being soldiers. And now that keeps coming up again and again in the current modern age. And,
oh my gosh.
It's interesting.
I've got a Dogman soldier, and I can't do it. It's all backwards, like in the corner of there, on the screen. That's one of my little things. I just had some stickers and stuff made. Dogman soldiers. I mean, those are reported. Dog soldiers working with our. I don't want to say government necessarily, but with agencies of some sort. Yeah. So ask Jody Cook with the North American Dogman Project. He's got some really good encounters. Really good story. So maybe I can get him to come back on my show. We can talk about it. Okay. Yeah. Fascinating stuff, y'all. Oh my gosh. We have gone about an hour and a half tonight. Let's reel it in. Oh my gosh. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. And I hope that we answered questions. We didn't cause more questions than answers. I don't know. I always leave here learning stuff and leaving with more questions than answers usually, but it's interesting data nonetheless. So like I said, if anything comes out that anybody has like a link to something that shows that this was actually AI, or you've got proof that it's real, whatever, y'all please put it in the comments below. And let's keep this conversation going until we figure out what this thing is and where it really came from. Okay, I would love to know exactly who took that picture and exactly where it came from. So let's do some digging, y'all. Y'all do some digging and help me out here.
Hey, you got somebody that just commented, Lisa. You see what she just said?
Okay.
She's got some knowledge. She's got some knowledge. Sorry, I know we're over, but
okay.
I just think people say something like that catches my attention.
Oh yeah, Jennifer, thank you so much for that super sticker. Hey Jennifer. Barry, you know Jennifer too. Hey, thank you so much for being here. Okay, thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that.
Was she at the conference?
Yes. Lisa says, as an artist, I always think the proportions are wrong in the AI images. And when you look closely, there's information or pixels missing when you look closely. I don't see any of that with this image. Oh, interesting. I know, right? I think that's kind of where, I guess that's kind of where Trey was too. With Squat, y'all go to Squatch Me Now on Instagram, okay? And Facebook. And all over social media. Yeah, it's the proportions look like they'd be about right. They weren't super distorted like a lot of AIs or CGI things would make them into. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, very cool comment. And I see you in here, UK Dogman. Thank you for being here tonight. I believe you. I know you got Dogman on your property. What does this say? I like that. Just
I wonder,
yeah,
do they avoid cameras too? Whoever that was that said that, they have the property.
yeah. UK
I wonder
Dogman.
if they avoid cameras too, like Bigfoot does.
They
Are they as
do.
good at that? Do
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times when people do get pictures of Dogman, they're hiding in the trees and stuff. Okay, and you'll see like outlines. It looks like Anubis like peeking out of a tree or something. So yeah, it's not very easy to get pictures of all this stuff, and I totally understand that. Look, I'm a field researcher, y'all. I know, no judgment zone here. Okay, because I know that they're out there camouflaging, they're cloaking. God knows what they're doing. I don't know.
Well, I had
It's
a
weird.
client that was getting having an abduction type of thing, and on this craft was 4 beings, but one of them was a dog person, and they described this being as being about 7 feet tall, having on some type of a almost ancient warrior type of garb, not quite Anubis like, but similar. And they distinctively described this dog man as looking like a German Shepherd with the ears down.
Yeah.
And this client was not being hypnotized by me to talk about dogmen. This is just part of what they'd been through. And it comes down to, you and I talked once about some of these dogmen possibly being galactic body traders.
Like old green eyes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
not what this one was doing, but interesting.
Okay. That was really odd because you're talking about galactic body part trading, which I know y'all, this is totally off subject what we're talking about tonight. It's really odd, but that was actually in my data for Old Green Eyes, that entity in Chickamauga at the Chickamauga Civil War battlefield up in northwest Georgia. I actually wrote down, I'd never heard of this before, but it was part of my data, galactic body part trading. It was body part trading. Which is so freaking odd, y'all. I don't know. I mean, how would I have, that data would have come out? I never heard of it. And then you talk about dogmen being galactic body part traders. And they say that Old Green Eyes was like a Gugway, potentially. Okay. Which could be interpreted as a dogman. It's similar, right?
Yeah, they got the snout.
Yeah, sure, it has a snout. So I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah. Bama, that's true. The face did look human to me too. The face looks human. So it does kind of look more Skinwalker-ish, but the data that I got for remote viewing it said it had something to do with like a dog and a raccoon. Okay. So I do believe it's a real creature according to that data. Okay. But I didn't pick up on Skinwalkers, but who knows? It could be a Skinwalker. I don't know. Okay.
I had heard before that they have to wear the skin the entire time to make the full metamorphosis into the other creature. That's what I had read before. I don't know how accurate that is. I'm not Navajo or anything, but that's a good question.
Yeah. They probably do. I don't know. I have never been.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misread it. When they're not shifted in an animal. Ooh, good question.
Okay.
Good question.
Awesome. Good question. I don't know, but that's a great question. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, this is fantastic. Super fun, crazy show tonight. Hit it out in the ballpark, Barry. Thank you so much for being here. And
thank you to the audience.
Okay, and like I said, if you guys get any kind of information on this creature, please hit me up. Go to my website, send me a message, put it down below in the comments here on this video tonight, whether or whenever you're watching it, here or Rumble or on podcast, whatever. Y'all send me a message, and let's figure out what this thing is. Okay. And okay, well, Barry, where can people find you? You have a great YouTube channel and a Patreon. Tell the audience where they can find you.
Thanks. The easiest way is on YouTube under Barry Littleton. I'm on Patreon under Barry Littleton. do a lot of stuff on YouTube. Also, I'm on Facebook. I try to communicate through there. And my YouTube or my website is barrylittleton.com. I don't do much there. They're just links there to my YouTube and other stuff. So
awesome. Okay, great. Okay, y'all go subscribe to Barry's channel and to his Patreon. You guys will not regret it. Barry he cranks out some amazing information and really does deep dives on all this research, and is one of the best researchers I know, Barry. So I'm proud that you're here tonight, and I'm glad to call you a friend. Okay.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm the same. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Absolutely. Okay. Well, you guys, y'all come see me this weekend. I am going to be at Spaced Out Radio. I have my friend Bryce from Esoteric Atlanta coming on. We're going to be going into some weird, creepy local legends and witches and werewolves and all sorts of stuff from down here probably in the South. Okay. Because we're both from Georgia. She is also a Georgia girl. And we're going to have a really good time. Cobb County. We're not wrestlers. We're not wrestlers. Okay. But big boss man in the house. But yeah, we're gonna have a really good time at Spaced Out Radio. You guys come hang out with us Saturday night on Spaced Out Radio. And also please tune in tonight to Spaced Out Radio. It is our 9-year anniversary at Spaced Out Radio tonight. So y'all go in there and say happy anniversary to Dave Scott. And congratulations on 9 years tonight over at Spaced Out Radio. I am a weekend host there. And I will see y'all there. Otherwise, y'all come sit back and see me next week here at the Cryptid Huntress channel. Okay. And y'all come see Barry too over on his channel. All right, Barry. Well, listen, have a good night. Yeah. Y'all have a great night. I will see y'all this weekend. Thank you guys so much also for all the super chats, all the super stickers. Y'all support means so much to me. It means a lot. And I love you guys. Okay. Y'all have a great night. Bye, Barry.
Bye. Take care now.